Osio, Diokoto E, Ayasti, Gana Yagi, Tagwado. Welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. Man, tonight we are back with American Indian ghost stories. And we have our special guest, Donna Coane, and she's gonna scare the pants off of you like usual. And she has some stories. I mean, she has stories for days. She has more ghost stories than anyone that I know. I've known some people who have ghost stories, but I think that she wins the prize. Okay. And I'm not going to spoil it by saying some of the things that has happened to her recently. So I'll basically let her tell her stories, and she has some other stories from back in the past too. So we will have others joining in as well. So what I will do now, I will bring in Donna. Okay, Donna. Oh wait, let me. Yeah, your mic is muted. Let me unmute your mic. Hey, Donna.
Hey, how are you?
Good. And we have also Bobby in the house.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
Hey, good to be with both of you tonight. I got some fun things, different things to talk about tonight that I'm sure that most people don't, maybe might not experience, but I have, that's for sure. pretty, pretty wild. But
Mm,
anyways, you want me kicking off, Fierce?
sure.
Okay, all right. So the first one I want
You froze, Donna.
to, oh,
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay, I'm taking off a week, uh, from work along with my husband, and we're going to go down to Florida for vacation. And that first week, unfortunately, my uncle had passed on, and I was very close to him
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
growing up. And yeah, and that was in 1981, I believe, or 82. I think 82, maybe 83, somewhere around there. But anyways, don't remember the exact date, but it was in the early 80s. And so we stayed behind, and my parents left. My aunt left and went, the father, and we stayed behind. The rest of the family went. And then we kept with our vacation the following week. Well, I didn't really want to like see him that way. I want to remember him the way he was, And of course, in my family, my uncle was very strong about his spirituality and his heritage, Um, and so, he was just amazing. But anyways, he's a very humble man, laid back man, and very nice man, very very much a family man, you know. And anyways, when we went to go back that following week after the burial and all, uh, I had got kind of like not really lost, but just misdirected to get to my aunt's house, right? So I went in a fast food parking lot to turn around. And I was just going to drive around the building and just leave and go the other direction. And as I was driving in, a car like passed me on the left and went in front of me. And when I looked at the man, I swear it was my uncle and his car. And his car just went like here's my car. I'm driving in, and then he comes around like this and comes in front of me, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, wait, that's my uncle, the one
Wow.
that passed, and the car looks like his car. But then as I'm coming around, I'm like, wait, where'd he go? The car never parked. The car disappeared. After,
Mm.
after he went in front of me and went around the turn there, then I went around the turn. I was like, went straightened out. I was like, wait, where'd he go? Not there. There's nowhere else to go but
Mm.
the way that car was going, the way I was going. So that
Wow.
was my first experience with what I would call a ghost car, you
Mm.
know, and it really stopped me in my tracks, really, in a sense, because I know what I saw, you know,
Mhm.
and even the car. I mean, it looked so solid, but yet
Mm.
it disappeared, and there was no explanation for it. There was nowhere where it could have went. It could have went either out or it could have parked, but it didn't do either. It just was as I came around, it just disappeared. It was gone.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that was really strange, really
Amazing.
crazy. I never experienced something like that, until then. Actually, and I was what, probably 23, probably when I experienced that. It
Oh
was
wow.
something. It was a vehicle that was there and then not there. You know,
Mhm.
and and another time when the vehicle that was really strange was I was going across the river here, which is from Rhinebeck to Kingston. And after I crossed the Kingston Rhinebeck Rhinecliff Bridge, whichever it's called, when I crossed that bridge and got onto the highway there, I'm driving, and all of a sudden in my rearview mirror, I see like this black mist. But it wasn't like a mist, it was like solid. And it was black, and it was like moving, like it ended up alongside my car and like going along with me. And I was like, what the heck? And I'm looking at it and it's just all black, but it was going along with the car. And we were side by
Mm.
side. And then it went in front of me. And it was like this. You ever see in movies where you see like this special effects of darkness overcoming? Like you see a lot of it in like maybe ghost stories or horror stories,
Yeah.
movies, right? That's what it looks like.
Mm.
It was really like thick, you know. And then it just disappeared when it got further in front of me. It was gone. And I
Mm.
was like, what the heck? you know, I felt like it was something really dark, like
Mm.
like not good, something not good, like from another realm or something, you know,
Wow.
space and time. It was just really, really dark looking. And of course, it was like, it just, it was so weird, so weird. That was when I was driving, you know, and
Mm.
yeah. And then I remember, I don't know if I said this at the last show, but I was driving on our main road here, and there's these two Dutch pillars that are in the woods, like. Then there's a house across from it, and this guy came from that house's yard, crossed the road, and got in front of me, and I slammed on the brakes because I was going to hit him. Now, and he was just like in this, like these tannish pants, like with those overall, those whatever you call those overall things, suspenders or
Mm.
whatever. And he had on a
Yes.
white t-shirt. Yeah, and he had on a white t-shirt, and it was blood spots on it, and he was all dirtied up, and he didn't look like he was from this time. But I slammed on my brakes. I was like, and he was carrying a sack in his hand, and he was doing like this kind of like running like this, and I was like, oh my god, I just robbed the house. So I slammed on the brakes. I almost hit him, and then all of a sudden he gets across the road. He goes into the pillars, and he was gone. There was
Mm.
no sign of him. He was just gone. And I
Really.
thought it was strange because kind of his face didn't really have like a expression on it. He was very stone cold looking, like,
Mm.
and he wasn't really paying. He didn't pay any attention to me, but I'm seeing him. And
Mhm.
I was about ready to call 911 because I thought he robbed the house. Can you imagine where I would have ended up if I called 911? Ma'am, there's no one. Not finding oh my god, that would have been nuts. No, I swear, I know what I saw. I saw it and it disappeared. He was carrying a sack from that house. Oh man, I.
Wow.
But then, I've had other experience with, you know, uh, not just cars, but like even elevators. You know, um,
Mm-hmm.
my aunt was in a nursing home, and uh, my mother called me. Um, I believe it was that morning, saying that she wasn't doing well, and she wanted me to come there. You know, and so I went there, and yeah, she was almost crossed by the time I got there. She was kind of doing those what you would call raspberries. Like labored breathing, and I went in. Right, my mother said, no, maybe you should call your relatives. So I left. I left out to make phone calls. When I got back, which was pretty quickly, I mean, I did it pretty quickly, so I thought. But when I
Mm-hmm.
got back into the nursing home, I went into the elevator to get to the room, and when I came into the elevator, there was my aunt standing there, like at an age like 30, just like standing there. And I said, "Oh, it didn't scare me or anything. I just was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
my aunt." But then when I got in the room, she had already passed.
Oh.
So I took it that was her last goodbye. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I saw her in the elevator. You know, just as she was at around age 30. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. And when I look at the picture I have here in my dining room, I mean, she looks just like that at age 30, and that's like she was like 12 in that picture,
Mm-hmm.
and it it really didn't look exactly like that picture. Just a little older. But
Mm.
yeah, that was pretty wild. It was like last goodbye, and then talking about family, of course, but in my mother's house, mother and father's house, when my father was he had hospice at the house there, and my uncle uh had come over. My godfather had come over to see him, and we were in the kitchen talking. My father had taken over my aunt's bedroom, and he was in there down into the hallway, and we were in the kitchen talking. So it was my mother, my uncle, and me. And I was standing facing my mother and my uncle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Standing facing them, and behind them, I could see my father's brother who passed a year before that. He was standing behind them, and I saw him just as clearly as day. I mean, I know it was him,
Oh
you know,
wow.
and I think he was there to, a lot of times people we know when we're about ready to cross, they come and get us, you know, to help
Mm.
us through, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what was happening, really, why he was there.
Yeah.
But my father ended up passing that morning after
Mm.
he passed. But, that was really, really crazy. That, I could I could see him just like seeing my uncle and my mother solid, you know, standing
Mm.
behind them. Like he was listening and, you know, planning, but yet listening.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty wild. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, and then the ghost rig. Oh my God. How do you have a ghost rig? 18 wheelers. Well, I was getting onto, I forget, I was either with my cousin or I think I was with my cousin because that was like 1986. We
Mm.
were going to Danbury shopping,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we go to get on from the Sonic Parkway onto 84, and I'm getting on, right, and I see this ring coming up, and I'm like not moving over. I'm like, and I'm trying to merge, right, but he's
Mm-hmm.
like driving with me almost, right, and I'm trying to merge, and I'm like, what is he doing? I go to look up and I'm like, wait a minute. Is there anyone even driving that ring? And next thing I know, the rig goes past me. It, I get to merge, right? And now it's in front of me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, wait, where did it go?
Mm.
I mean, where did it go? It just
Mhm.
like, and my cousin was like, wasn't there a rig right there? I said, yeah, but where'd it go? you know, what happened to it?
Mm.
And what was funny is that the rig, even though it was solid, it was almost like I was in another time. By the way,
Mm.
by the way the rig looked, it
Mm.
just didn't look like it was solid, but it wasn't solid, solid. It looked like it was almost on like those airboats. It kind of looked like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That was really strange. That was
wow.
the rig thing that I saw that time, and that was nuts.
Mm.
Yeah, and then traveling on the road. I'm not sure if I talked about this one before, but well, the one that was interesting is up by my drummer Debbie's area where she lives, and that's going towards like Hunter Mountain, that area, kind of. Guess
Mm.
you could say Hunter Mountain or Big Indian, towards that area, without saying the exact location, but it's like towards that area.
Mm.
And there was a little boy that was killed, was hit by a car, and anyways, I'm driving Debbie back, and I'm like, wait, I see a little boy. He's like running along the road here. See that little boy? No, I don't see anybody. No, there's a boy right there. She goes, no, I don't see anybody. I go, but there is. And the boy just kept going along the road, running, like he was running for something, right?
Mm.
Then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, the boy was gone. And I told Debbie, I said, no, I know it was a boy. He was about 12 or so, 12-ish or so. And she says,
Mm.
oh, I bet you that was a little boy that was killed by the car. I go, yeah,
Mm.
it could have been, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was wild. So, um, and then that one time that me and my other friend, this was years ago, we used to take my daughter all over the place. But we were heading to a sanctuary, and it was like a bird sanctuary. It was really cool. And
Mm.
we went there for the day. We brought like a little picnic lunch and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And when we're done, because you could go hiking there, of course, right? And so when
Mhm.
we're done, we were going to head back. Well, I'm driving, and I'm like, I don't recall seeing that house with that pond in the front. And look, there's two little kids in the front. What are they doing? Right?
Mhm.
And my friend's going, what two little kids? No, there's two little kids by the pond. They're like dancing by the pond. Right now, very little clothes on. They're like dancing by the pond. Right?
Mm. Mhm.
And she's like, no, I don't see anybody. I go, but I see something. Then I realized that they were probably ghosts. They weren't even human as we were. They were just plain ghosts. But
Mm.
yeah, that was interesting. I
Wow.
don't know what happened there, but they almost looked like twins, kind of. It was a boy and a girl. They were young. They were like, I would say probably like 7 years old, probably maybe six, somewhere around
Yeah.
there. They were really young. Yeah. But we're supposed to be heading back to my house, which is in New York. And next thing we know, we see a sign that says, Welcome to Massachusetts. What?
Mm.
We're not supposed to be in Massachusetts. But
Wow.
we got kind of misguided from just going back. But if we went went the right way, I would never have seen those two kids ghosts. There you go. So I meant
Mm.
to see them for some reason. You know,
Mhm.
it was crazy. I don't think I never really seen something too crazy. Oh, my own house. Um, One day I was sitting on a couch here, and above the fireplace mantle, up on the
Mhm.
ceiling, was that black cloud. The same thing I saw driving. It just
Mm.
like went all through my ceiling, and I was like, "Man, I smudged this house so fast." I don't know what that was about, but that was strange. That was really strange.
Mm.
And oh, and then the face, the face on my curtain, right, Bobby?
Yes. I
Yep, the
remember
face.
that clearly.
Yep, that was last year. I
Hmm.
was sitting on the couch and I'm like, there's a face on my curtain. Where's it coming from? And I thought maybe it was a tree, and the lights. And I kept moving all the branches, and I'm like, nope, still there, still there.
Hmm.
And then
It was
next thing,
scary.
yeah, next thing it moved onto the entertainment center on the wood, on the oak. It was there. So it moved, but it stayed there for the longest time. It was so bizarre. Why a
Hmm.
face showed up on the curtains like that. And it was like an old time, like I would say 17th century. It had like a top hat kind of.
Hmm.
It was odd, wasn't it? I was sending Bobby pictures. Um,
When you go out with
um,
Donna somewhere, you get scared.
I'm sure. Wow. Mm.
oh God. Oh man. Oh yeah, I guess maybe I do scare people. I don't know.
Wow.
and uh,
Amazing.
yeah, I remember walking through Poet's Walk, and there's a trail that goes in the back down towards the river. There's a gazebo down there, right, a small
Hmm.
one. And I was walking through there, and I hear like I thought it was deer, you know, and I go
Hmm.
and I look, and it wasn't deer. It was native people.
Hmm.
It was indigenous people in the woods. It was like wow, and like buckskin and bark and you know
Hmm.
some fur, and
Hmm.
it was wild. It was mostly men, like they were hunting, you know,
Hmm.
and yeah, that was wild. I could see them just like At first, when I saw something move, I thought it was a deer. Then when I looked, I thought, oh, that's not a deer, that's a person. And
Hmm.
I said, hello there, right? And no, there was no answer back. It was definitely spiritual. Yeah, definitely
Wow.
spiritual. Yeah, I mean, it was almost beautiful though.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah, it wasn't anything to be afraid of really. It was beautiful. So
Uh,
you know,
yeah.
but yeah, I always say that the spirit world is really 3 feet off the ground. They're all with us.
Mm.
That function in this society. They're all right with us. You know,
That's
and
true.
yeah, but yeah, crazy. And
Wow. Yeah, you
yeah,
you surely have some you have some experiences. I mean, I know people who have experiences too, a lot of them, but
yeah,
it seems to be a regular thing with you.
yeah, it's constant. It's always something. You know, and
Hmm.
I've even been in my own like house, and I have like a dressing area where the bedroom is, and the closet, and all that, and sort of dressing area, and the bathroom, and all. Right, I've been up against the sink and felt like a cold breeze come behind me, and
Mm.
felt like I was being watched,
Mm.
and I don't like that feeling. That feeling I don't like, but
Okay.
I turned around and said, "Hey, this is my space, my area. You need to leave." You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was,
And they left.
and they left it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it's pretty wild.
And you
Always
had
some.
a yeah, you had a recent experience that you were telling me about with Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God! I swear I know what I saw. I know
Yeah.
it. I swear I did. I was coming back from my daughter's house, and it's very wooded, and it's very swampy and very wooded, right? And it was a very kind of a dark night, and I had my brights on, and I'm driving, and I'm like, "What is that?" I see something like doing this, I'm like, "The heck is that?" So when I got closer, I realized, wait a minute, what is it? It was like very tall. It was all hair, like a orangish, brownish hair, thin
Mm.
hair, right? Over the face, over the whole body, long arms, very big. When my lights hit it, the shadow, you can see the arms shadow on the road sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the arms were very big. The arms were doing this. I don't know if you see me reviewing,
Yes. Yeah.
but the arms were doing that, right? And almost playing with me. And there was no one
Mm.
behind me, so I actually slowed down very slow just to watch it. But I know what I saw. It was,
Wow.
yeah,
Mm.
because it was big. It was completely hairy. And of course, I couldn't see like the bottom part of it as well, but I saw like the top part, the whole top part. And the face was just, it had a face, but it was all hair like an animal,
Covered
you
with
know.
hair. Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
very
say
long
it was
arms.
kind of playing with you?
I think it was kind of playing with me. What I found out is that they actually like native people for
Mm.
some reason. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I was told.
Mm.
So maybe that's what it was, and it didn't
Mm.
seem like it was gonna hurt me. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I was inside my vehicle,
Yeah.
and yeah, that was the strangest thing. That was
Wow.
weird. It reminded me of orangutan. Reminded me of orangutan, the way it was moving the arms,
Mm-hmm.
and and we don't have no zoos local here, so it can't be orangutan unless someone's keeping orangutan illegally. But no, I swear, I know what I saw. Yeah,
Now,
that was
did it look like you know, in the documentaries and things like that, they have these people who claim to have pictures that they've captured of Bigfoot. Did it look like those?
no,
Mm.
it didn't really look like a Bigfoot. It looked more like a Sasquatch. Yeah,
Okay.
more like it looked more like that, and it was just it was like a brownish color
Mm-hmm.
hair. It wasn't fur.
Mm.
It was like long all over its body, and yeah, it had very long arms.
Mm.
The fingers were fur, like you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the nails were long.
Mm.
I didn't get to see the feet really. I would love to
Okay.
see the feet. But I didn't get that. I didn't get to see that because it was wooded and you know, it was dark. And my
Mm.
headlights, I don't have LEDs. I just have halogens. So it wasn't real that bright to see. I had my brights on, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty wild. But
Wow.
I wanted to take a picture, but I was afraid I would scare it. And
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
it. I'd be, you know, maybe done. Who knows? you know, who knows? Right? Jeez, crazy. But through the time, I have seen land keepers. I don't know if you know what land keepers are,
No.
but they are spirits that protect the land, and they are part animal, part human. And
Mm.
I've seen deer, and I've seen coyotes, and I've seen foxes.
Mm.
And it's where you have a human body. They're not very big. They're not very small though. They're like maybe 5'5" or so,
Okay.
the land keepers, and but yet they have animal heads.
Mm.
Um, I've seen a deer, I've seen a fox, and I've seen a coyote. The fox I've seen locally here,
Mm.
actually. The deer I saw on a retreat, which I thought it was a deer until I realized, oh wait, it's on two legs. It doesn't have four legs, it's on two legs. But that
Mm.
was a land. And land keepers, they protect the land. That's what they do. And they're
Mm.
spiritual. They're part human, part animal, and they're animal to camouflage themselves. From humans.
Mm.
Because they're not actually human. You know, they're spiritual. with a animal upper part.
Mm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you say they camouflage themselves from humans.
Yeah, they kind of do with their the way they look in a sense, because they are on two legs, but yet they have an animal top part, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that was pretty cool. I saw a fox in a lecture I was in about spirit land, about land keepers,
Mm.
and uh, yeah, that was pretty.
Interesting. Oh, you froze, Donna. Donna, you froze. I don't know if you may need to. Oh, there you go. Okay.
There we go. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. See, I talk about certain things, and next thing you know, I freeze. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Jeez, crazy. Yeah, did
Hmm.
I talk about the retreat that time?
The retreat. What? Some of the details.
Details were my group was going on this retreat and perform and do a drum workshop and do concerts, and we were involved in starting the fire at the fire ceremony, and both
Mm.
nights.
No, I don't think you talked about that.
Okay. Well, we were going to this. It's up in Huguenot, which is way past Ellenville, New York, and we were invited to do two concerts and do a drum workshop, teach people about the drum, what it represents, what it means, what the beats are, and what the songs represent, and the whole thing about the drum, right? Music and
Hmm.
all. And so the first night we got there, and it was okay the first night. Um, the drum workshop was fun. I met a producer that I didn't know he was a producer, but Um, I met him years ago, and then all of a sudden there he was. He surprised us,
Mm.
um, showing up. We were messing around the drum, dancing around the drum, trying to tag each other because we were on our lunch, kind of on our lunch hour. We had lunch and all, and
Hmm.
all of a sudden there he is, right? So that was kind of fun. That was the most fun, probably, of what was going to happen next.
Mm.
So there we are. We're doing drum workshop. Now comes time for our concert. We did our concert, right? After
Hmm.
our concert, we were going up to the mountain to start the fire, do the fire ceremony, right?
Hmm.
And everybody that was doing workshops came. People that were there for workshops came, right?
Hmm.
And the first night, uh, I didn't know that my two girls saw something very, very dark and demonistic up on the mountain
Mm.
from the lake
Okay.
on the beach there. I didn't know that because I also saw it. I saw it when I went down to the beach on my own, and I looked up and I went, "Whoa, what is that?" And
Mm.
I just didn't want to keep looking at it, so I
Hmm.
just took a mental picture of it. Went, "Okay, I'm not going to pay that any mind because that was nasty." It was a very dark, big being, very jagged, sharp teeth, had horns, and it was completely black.
Mm.
And eyes were just, eyes were like horrible. It was like, something that you definitely want to make contact with. And
Hmm.
so I ignored it. And so I decided to, I don't know why I went by myself, but I did. And asked anyone to go with me. I went by myself to walk up the mountain because I wanted to
Mm.
see where we're going to be, right? And there was these
Hmm.
benches that went around in like a squared off view, right?
Hmm.
And they went all the way back in the woods. The fire pit was in front of there. But if you walked around the back of the fire pit and stepped back only a foot, you'd be down in a ravine, 300 feet down. You'd be down
Oh wow.
into the lake. And so I had to tell my girls, whatever you do not go in the back of the fire circle. It's dangerous. You will end up in the lake if you should step backward, right?
Mm.
I said, follow my lead. Well, I'm going to go to the side, on the other, our side facing the people. I'm going to go on that side. So our backs will be mainly against the people in a sense, but you can't go in the back of the fire circle. So, okay, so I made sure that they understood that. So I went up there during the day by myself. I didn't see anything when I was up there during the day. So I walked
Mm.
back down. So I wanted to see it. Needless did I know where I was where I saw that thing.
Mm.
I didn't connect it together yet. That's where that thing was, right? So,
Mhm.
okay. So nighttime comes. After the concert, we go up there because well, it ended up being me, but they wanted us to start the fire, right? In like a traditional way, right?
Mhm.
And so, anyways, we started the fire. My On the way up there, actually, yeah, that was the first night. On the way up there, the trail was so thin that you have trees and just a little barrier there to protect you from rolling down the other side of the mountain, right?
Mm. Mhm.
Craziest, craziest place I've ever been. But anyways, um, so all of a sudden these two guys come and they practically knock me and Debbie over. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, Debbie, I don't know why I'm all lopsided. I can't walk right. Something's wrong,
Mm.
right? So
Mhm.
when I get up there, I realized that they forced my heel to break off my boot. So I
Mm.
had no heel left on it. I was wearing Harley boots. They're great for hiking. So
Mhm.
the heel broke off, right? And so I'm like,
Mhm.
oh God. I said, I can't walk around with this. I was getting like little pebbles in my feet, my foot, walking
Mhm.
without a heel on it, right? And
Mhm.
so I said, maybe I'll just try to break off the other heel, right? So, okay, so I go and I get the other heel broken off, and which I had to really work at, but now I have heelless boots. So I decided I was going to drive my two other girls home because they lived miles and miles away, and then I was going to go home, right?
Mhm.
Because we weren't staying at the place, right? Because we didn't, because there were rooms we could have stayed because it was YMCA, and there were like a cottage there with rooms, right?
Mhm.
And we decided just to go home. Debbie drove herself. I drove the other two girls and one girl's son, right? So
Mhm.
we decided we'll go home. So it was so late, but I decided, hey, do you mind if I stay overnight in your house? I'm gonna go to Walmart. I'm gonna buy some things I need. I'm gonna buy a pair of cheap sneakers because I broke my boots, for the next day to be at this place. So I went to Walmart. So I bought things I needed. I didn't plan on staying overnight. I planned on coming home, you know. And so
Mhm.
then I go back to my girl's place and I stay over. Then we get up and we go to the retreat. We get to the retreat and um, the same thing again. We have a night where we have to go up to the mountain. And when we're up to the mountain, my two girls were wrapped in a blanket and they were like shivering, looking around, right? And I'm like, oh God, they saw what I saw. I know they did. Because we
Mm.
did that for 2 nights. And I'm like, they saw what I saw. I know they did, right? So the
Mhm.
second night we go and I decide I can't take you girls home again. I'm not going to do that. Because by the time we got out from the ceremony, from doing our concert, we ended up doing a concert in with a group that's called Hannah Fields. So us, Spirit of
Mm.
Thunderheart, ended up in with them with our drum, which was
Mhm.
great, as an extra drum for their whole concert. And then after that, we went for the fire ceremony, right? And
Mm.
it was so late. I decided, you know what? I'm going to get a hotel room. I can't do this driving again. I'm going to get a hotel room. So we went into Middletown to McDonald's. We went into McDonald's to get food because we were starving. And then we went back to the hotel. Well, Debbie's going to drive home because she lives with her mother. She was taking care of her mother. So she was going to drive home. I went and got a hotel room for I and the three of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the phone with Debbie while she was driving to make sure she's getting home okay. We're talking on the phone. And all of a sudden I hear this, right? And I hear Donna. And I'm like, Debbie, Donna, Debbie, right? And next thing you know, I hear poof. And I'm like, oh my God, Debbie, Donna, did you go airborne? I did. I said, oh my God, you all right? Well, I'm in a cornfield and I can't move. Are you hurt? No, I'm stuck between two trees. I can't get out of it. I'm in a cornfield. I'm like, Debbie, there's no cornfield in 212 on that route. That's all reservoir and a few houses.
Mm.
There's no cornfields, no
Mm.
farms, cornfields. Donna, there is. I'm in a cornfield. I'm like, okay. So I said, look, I'm going to borrow one of the girls' phones. You stay on the phone with me. Because now it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And I
Mm.
will, and I got a hotel to get sleep, by the way. so, so I'm going to have to drive, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I called 911 and I explained what happened. The dispatcher says, but there's no cornfield. But she's
Mm.
saying that she's stuck in a cornfield between two trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, well, I'll send someone out. I said, okay, right? And so it took a while, but Debbie goes, oh, I see a cop, right? And she goes, nope, 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 there he goes. What do you mean there he goes? I don't think he can see me, right? And then she goes, oh, there he goes again. I'm like, oh my God.
Mm.
There he goes again. I'm like, he can't find. Don't you have your headlights? I have my flashers on, and I have the whole thing. I'm sitting on top of my roof, Then of course I have to say, didn't you ever see Children of the Corn? Anna, stop that! You're scaring me. Stop.
Oh man.
The cornfield, but there's no cornfield, and
Mm.
so after that, right? Um, Finally, the cop comes, and the cop says, "Ma'am, where are you coming from? A retreat? Oh, what are you doing at retreat? Drumming, singing? Oh, and also I hear silence. I told Debbie to put her phone underneath the seat, and
Mm.
I'll stay quiet, but leave me on so I can, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
and meanwhile, I have 911 on the phone on the other phone, right? And
Yeah.
so, I told them, hey, the cop is trying to find her, so I knew that, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden he says, well, where's the drums? Well, the lead has the drums. It's like he's harassing her, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then what does he do? He leaves. He leaves her alone, right? So now she's waiting for a tow truck. So a tow truck is coming, right? But the tow truck does the same thing, misses her, goes back and forth. Finally, he finds her, right? So now I'm seeing the sunrise, and she says, oh, the tow truck finally found you, right? So I told 911, it's okay, I guess I can hang up now because they found her, tow truck has her, and it sounds like they're going to get her out of there. So, okay, so we hang up, right? I'm still on the phone with Debbie, though, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
finally, the tow truck did get her out, but now I go back to the hotel, I go back inside the hotel, and I'm like, okay, Debbie, I'm going to bed. Bye. I hang up.
Mm.
I go and get a few hours of sleep, and then I get up, and I'm like, now I have a problem because Debbie can't drive her car. The only thing that happened to it was that the radiator had a hole in it, so the rest of the car was fine. So when me and JoJo, I had my daughter come get the drum, and my other girl and her son go to retreat. You'll be fine. Do a drum workshop. Do whatever. You'll be fine. Right? Just stay
Mm.
with the drum. Never leave the drum. Just stay with the drum. At least one person. I'll go get me and JoJo. Will go get Debbie. Right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it was kind of comical because I told JoJo I'm starving. She goes, I am too. Let's go to Olive's and get something to eat. So we go there and we get breakfast, right? And then we head out. By the time we got to Debbie, it was like really late. So now I got to drive. I got to unload Debbie's car because she took some of the group stuff, put it in my car, and then take Debbie and we go back to the retreat. By the time we got back to the retreat, the whole event was over. Everybody was leaving.
Mm.
So
Oh,
we
wow.
never made it back the second day, right? The next day back, right? Which
Mhm.
was funny. But now, um, I get home and I have a problem here. So I had to get a mystic because my dog was getting attacked. My daughter was getting attacked. So I
Mm.
had to get a mystic come here, and they call it scanning the house. So
Okay.
he checked at the house. He checked out I and my daughter and the dog, and then he closed the portal and he I was the one that smudged the house, but I smudged the house and you know with sweetgrass, sage, and cedar, I wasn't taking a chance.
Mm.
All three, and
Yeah.
so anyways, things cleared up, things were fine. But it was a week later. I asked Debbie. I said, "What did you really see?" Hmm, was no deer.
Mm.
And when me and Jojo went back to get her, we confirmed there's no cornfield on 212. None.
Mm.
None.
Okay.
The only thing there was just about the only house on that road with a few others that had a little patch of cornfield. Little patch, like 4 by 4, you know. Not
Mm.
there was no car that went through there, you know. But the cop did
Mhm.
tell her that if she went a few feet further, she would have been in the reservoir.
Mm.
She would have been in the water. So
Wow. Oh, you froze, Donna.
I think her haunted.
You had frozen for a second. Repeat what you just said.
Oh, I think the biggest thing was that, well, she didn't get hurt, you know, and I think that it was actually her haunted car, Volvo station wagon that saved her. That actually saved
Mm.
her. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. That was the craziest retreat I've ever been at, and I've been going to retreats for years, you
Mm.
know, and
Mhm.
that was the craziest one that I've ever been at, ever,
Mm.
ever. It was crazy, and yeah, I don't think I have an even better story than that one with that thing. That thing was
Mm.
had to be at least 8 feet tall.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, it was big, and when we went up there the second night, there was guys.
You froze, Donna. Can you hear me, Donna? You may have to
Yeah, there we
go
go.
out. Okay, there you are.
Yeah, so I swear it's because I'm talking about this. I swear it is. It doesn't want me to talk.
Yeah, right. That's
But
probably
anyway,
what it
what
is.
I was saying is that, you know, I I this thing was about at least 8 feet tall and
Mm.
very big. I mean, very big and
Mm.
fierce looking. I mean, it was demonistic, you
Mm.
know. That was one of the
Mhm.
craziest retreats I've ever been to, and I've been going to them for years. That was the most craziest one I've ever been to, with
Wow.
all that going on. Yeah, that was
Mm.
nuts.
Oh man.
That was too much, you know,
Mhm.
and uh, crazy.
Man.
Yeah, it, there's always something that can be seen, heard,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
felt. You know, some people see more than they feel, you know, or sense.
Mm.
Some people see and also sense and feel it. Some people just
Yeah.
feel it, just that feeling, you know. Some people hear it, before they see it. You know?
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's like your
Yeah.
house, Bob. That night when I was at your house, we were sitting on the couch, and out of the blue, the whole uh, closet, everything collapsed in the closet. It was on the floor. Remember that?
In that, and for some reason I can't remember it. Maybe I
Yeah,
was too scared.
maybe I remember that. We were sitting there, and out of the blue, we just hear something that just
A,
like
a lot of strange
ah,
things happened in that house. A lot.
yeah, there was. There sure was. Yeah, I can remember feeling like something was coming down the stairs one night in the dining
I
room.
remember that.
Yeah, the dining room was very dark. That was a very odd space. The
It
dining
was.
room. Yeah,
Remember we had sage. We both had sage, and
yeah,
it came down the stairs. We
yeah,
could both feel it. And you
yeah.
ran out, the brave one. You run out with the sage, and you're saging it. And stand back. Don't get this.
I was.
It's true. You did. You did.
Nothing bothers me, I guess. I just go, whatever.
All right. You want to go do it? Go
Uh,
do it.
Mm.
oh man, yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Mm. Man.
Yeah,
One
yeah. Your
time
house.
he came down the stairs, and I saw what is it? The white mist. I
Yeah,
saw it forming from a white
yeah.
mist. I ran the other way. I did.
Oh man.
Wow.
Sometimes I just say, well, okay then. you know, it's like,
Yeah, what else can you do?
what else
Donna's
can
a
you do?
brave one. She's brave.
Mm. Yeah, I
Oh,
see.
unless you sneak up on me.
Mm.
If a human sneaks up on me, then that's different. I was in the kitchen last night, and I didn't know my son came up behind me, right? And all of a sudden, I didn't know he was there. I turned around and I screamed. I was like, "Don't do that! I didn't know you were there." But that's a human, though. That's different. I'm more afraid of humans than I am of spirits. There you
Wow. Most people
go.
are the opposite way.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Mm.
man. Oh, crazy.
Yeah, you charged that spirit like your feet were on fire.
Mm. Wow.
He said, "Go right ahead."
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, what the heck, right?
Mm.
Oh my god. I mean,
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, man, I tell you, boy, that's something else, man. I don't know. I don't know. These, I've had a few experiences, but nothing remotely near, some of the
yeah,
stuff that you've experienced.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like one night out here, outside here, my house. I I saw something odd, like past the big pine tree. I thought that's weird. So I took pictures of it with my phone, right? When I looked at the pictures later on, it was like a blue light. There's no blue light down there or around that tree, and I enlarged it, and it was like a misty blue light, just misty, and you could like see through it. It was cool. It was actually kind of cool, but
Mm.
I would think that was just kind of like a certain orb. So
Yeah.
you know, yeah, yeah. I have a lot of orbs in the house here, a lot.
Really?
And I take not my iPhone. The iPhone's horrible for orbs, but
Yeah.
My Android is awesome. I take
Mm.
my old Android and I just use the camera and I go, wow, that is wild. They are shooting.
Really?
Some are really wide and long. Some are like shooting across.
Mm.
Some are just like round and
Mm-hmm.
translucent. It's really kind of cool.
Wow. Oh, I've got to see some of those.
Yeah, I did that once in my moon lodge where I went in there. Of course, it's pitch black, right? I went in
Mm-hmm.
there. I decided to take pictures. Orbs everywhere. I mean,
Really?
it was just orb like I couldn't. It was like a waterfall of orbs. It was so crazy. It was
Mm.
cool. But I see orbs as protectors. They are
Okay.
spirits, but they're protectors. You know,
Really?
how I see them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One picture of me. I was at Brunel Park, and my friend was taking. She's a photographer, and she was taking pictures of me. Throughout Brunel Park for a PR stunt, kind of. And I was standing there, and behind me, right by my head, is a big, huge orb, translucent, right
Hmm.
behind my head. Yeah.
Wow. It was blue, you said?
No, that one was clear, but it was behind
Mm.
my head. And
Mm.
it was all wooded, but it was behind my head, and it was it was huge. It was
Mm.
clear. You can see through it kind of, but it was definitely an orb. And people say, "Oh, it's dust." I'm sorry, but I also use well, I am a photographer. I mean, I went for school for it, but I don't
Ah.
practice it so much today. Not really.
Mm.
Just with the cell
Mm-hmm.
phone, that's as far as I get now. But dust doesn't look like that on the camera.
Mm.
Not like an orb.
Mm.
Your non-believers will say, "Ah, that's dust." Nah,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
what dust.
And being that you're a trained as a photographer, you definitely would know the difference.
Yeah, you know the difference. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Because one day I decided to do an experiment. This was a while ago. I decided to take a piece of dust out of the air thing, right,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it on the lens. Took quite a bit on the lens actually, and then I snapped a picture, and it comes out as like hair follicles or you know fur from animals, hair from animals, dander. That's what it was really. Because
Mm.
dust contains what can contain cobwebs, animal hair, human hair, dander, some dirt, right? That's what dust contains.
Right.
So therefore, for it to be on a camera lens, it would not look like an orb at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyways, yeah, that's a little bit about orbs. Always seen orbs here. I, you know, um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't mind the orbs.
And I do know that
Oh, where'd you go, Fierce?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yep.
Oh, okay. Being that I know you, I know you're not making this up, but I know that there will be some people out in who will be viewing this later on, and they're gonna feel that these are not real stories. These are just things that she's using to just entertain us, or maybe she was doing too much peyote, or she had a few too many drinks, you know.
Yeah,
But I know you're not making this stuff up.
yeah. None of that. That's for sure. I know that. Like I feel when people drink, that's when they can't really see things. Because they've been
Hmm.
compromised by something.
Right.
Including drugs. You lose that spirituality. You lose that connection. So that
Hmm.
you don't see those things. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty crazy things.
Mm.
You know, I think my Jane sees some things too. There's been nights where she wouldn't want to go on her bed, you know,
Mm.
and she'd come and bark at me and she'd stare, and I'd be like, "Stop doing that! Go to bed!" I'm saying,
Wow.
nothing there. There's nothing there. Go to bed. Maybe
Mm.
maybe she's seeing something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking when you said that.
Yeah. I know I've heard her dish rattle by she has a raised dish that's stainless steel on a
Hmm.
stainless steel stand. And I've heard the dish rattle like from the collar tags when she's been right with me. And I've
Mm.
heard walking that sounds like her out in my kitchen, and I swear it's my name that passed prior of her.
Mm.
That's almost what I think it might be, you know.
Wow.
Because our dogs, do sometimes visit us,
Mm-hmm.
and
Wow.
too. But yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. Oh, one time, okay, that wasn't Roma. It was our last previous staying. Um, we were in we have a funny noise in the background. Okay,
Yeah, that's coming from Bobby, but I can just mute her mic until she gets ready to speak.
I'm
okay,
sorry. Did I hear my name?
Oh no, Donna was just saying there's a feed. We're hearing a feedback coming from your
Oh, I'm
thing.
sorry.
But I told her I could just mute your mic until you get ready to speak.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah,
all
just let me know in the chat when you want to say something.
Just ask Donna to talk about the fairies.
The fairies. Okay, you
right.
heard that, Donna?
Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of your thing, Bobby.
Nobody, you saw it. I saw it and you saw it.
Oh
Mm,
yeah, I did see it. Yeah, that was very cool. Very cool. I never seen
mm,
like something like this ever. But anyways,
mm,
Bobby has one room that when you look up at the ceiling, you see like these lights, right? And what it's not nothing. It's not nothing that's stuck on the ceiling at all. Because in the daylight you don't see any of that,
mm,
right? During the day, and at night, if you turn on the lights, you don't see it. But at night, when you turn off the lights, because that's when they're more active, I guess, you
mhm,
see it on the ceiling, right? But this one night, Bobby said, "Oh, I've seen the fairies in my rose bushes."
mm.
Rose bushes, right, Bobby? Yeah,
I
they
didn't
were in
hear
the,
what you said.
they were in the rose bushes.
Oh, the rose bushes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Mm,
So they were in the rose bushes, and I decided to take pictures, enlarge the pictures, and they have faces.
mm,
They are they, but yet if you don't see it, you see lights like on the rose bushes, right?
mhm.
But then when you take a picture and you enlarge it, you actually see what looks like really does look like fairies. And they have
Wow.
it was beautiful. It was like wow, and there had been at least 100 of them in that rose bush. There was a
Mm.
lot. They were all over.
They
Oh
And
live
wow.
in my guest room upstairs. I feed them. I give them
Mm,
water. They have a fern. They like to take care of the fern. They
mm,
take care of the roses. Every once in a while, when I lose something, they'll find it.
mm.
Very nice.
Wow.
yeah, so
Amazing.
I didn't really know too much about fairies, right?
Mm.
Until Bobby, until she said, "Hey, I have this going on in my guest room." I was like, "Oh, but yeah, it's pretty cool." But yeah, the fairies in the rose bush was amazing. It was
Mm,
nighttime when we went out to see them, and they lit up like little lights.
It's
And like I
mm.
said,
beautiful.
pictures and blow up the picture, and yeah, that's what it is in the rose bushes.
Wow.
It's really
Yeah,
cool.
I knew someone years ago when I was living in Brooklyn, and I was doing real estate at the time. And one of my clients, she had related to me that she sees fairies all the time. And we drove, she said, yeah, especially in Prospect Park. And she told me to drive through Prospect Park, and she showed me where a particular lake that's in there. And she said, yeah, if you can see, they're all in this lake here. They're all, I didn't see anything, but she said, they're all in this lake. And I said, wow. So what you're saying about I'm thinking about what you're saying about the roses. It's like they're attracted to elements.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I wonder if fairies play tricks on you though,
That's
too.
what they say.
Like
Yeah,
hide your things.
yeah. There are certain ones that they're like mischievous. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a book here on fairies, the different types of fairies, and it talks about that. Yeah, there's mischievous ones.
Here's a question for both of you. Are fairies all female?
That's a good question. I don't think so,
Huh. What do you
but
think?
don't quote me on that. I have to go back and look at my book and see.
Yeah. What do you think, Bobby? Are they all female? I think it might.
From what I understand, they live in families. I understand they live a long life, but they eventually die. I guess if they live in families, they must be male and female.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I believe they are male and female.
Huh.
But I believe so.
Huh. That's cool.
Hmm.
I have garden fairies. They love plants and flowers.
Huh.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess we touched on a lot tonight, huh?
Yeah, yeah. We definitely have to do this again
Yeah.
because I know you have more stories.
I live in a crazy area. Like this is a Mid Hudson Valley area, and it's
Mm,
in a valley, so everything like settles in the valley,
mm,
and it's a weird spot. It's very strange.
mm.
There's
Wow.
always something.
Always something going on.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, well, I definitely thank you, Donna, for sharing some more stories with us.
Oh,
Uh,
you're welcome.
yeah, and then definitely thank you, Bobby, for talking about those fairies. You know, if she can hear.
I can hear. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll do this again,
Yeah, definitely.
for sure. You know,
Yeah.
a good way for me to start my weekend. By hearing some of these stories. Good for a Friday night.
Yeah, right? Pretty crazy.
Yeah. I
Uh,
know. I know. All right. Well, yeah. So yeah, it's been a blast.
here too.
Yes.
Always fun.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. All righty. So yeah, I'll close the show out now, and
All
thanks
right.
again.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me again. Thank you, Bobby, for coming on.
Thank you for
Awesome.
inviting me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll
And
do this again. Yeah.
definitely until the next time.
Okay. Until next time.
Okay.
All right. Good
All
ghostly
righty.
night.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm gonna close
All
the
right.
show out.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay. Good night.
and good night. Okay. Oh man. Well, this was uh this was definitely something that is gonna scare a lot of you. These are real stories. These are not things that she sat down with a piece of paper and said, "Oh, let me create a nice story to tell." These are actual experiences. Even though I know there's some people who don't believe in the spirit realm, and they just believe that what you can perceive in three dimensions is the end all and be all, and there's nothing outside of that, you know. whatever you can, perceive, with the usual senses, and that's it. But I know from personal experience that that's not the case. I know that there is some things that cannot just be explained away very easily. Okay. So I hope you tune in again when we do another show on American Indian ghost stories. Okay. And until that time, I'm going to close out the show saying, Do da dog, e.